Welcome to the High at 9 News Hour, where you will hear from cannabis industry experts and professionals from around the country talk about important topics while shining light on global issues and discussing cannabis as it relates to politics, regulation and reform, data and technology, science, research and medicine, family and parenting, art, celebrities and entertainment, fitness, sports, mental health and wellness, and plant-based medicines and entheogenics. Together, we are building a stronger community, fighting the stigma and creating change. With your hosts, Jason Beck and Rico Lamitte, joined by special industry expert correspondents from around the country, and daily antics brought to you by Cannabis. Coming to you live every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time and high noon on the East Coast. And thank you all for getting high at 9 with us. Oh, yeah. Good morning, everybody. Hope you all had a fantastic weekend. All right. It is Monday, May 8th, you guys. I can't believe we're already 1 week into May. But today is National Coconut Cream Pie Day. You hear that, Gretchen? World Ovarian Cancer Day, National Women's Checkup Day, Time of Remembrance and Reconciliation Day, National Student Nurse Day, World Red Cross Day, and National Have a Coke Day, because everybody loves Coke, I guess. And it's also International Talanemesia Day. I know I murdered that, so I apologize. Thank you all for joining us and getting high at 9 with us. It's also high noon on the East Coast. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe to us on all social media platforms. We're live every Monday through Friday on YouTube and audio only on Clubhouse. And you can use that fancy little QR code right there in the top-hand corner of your screen to find out exactly where we live on the internet. If you are joining us in Clubhouse, you can also participate in the show by raising your hand if you have a brief comment on the story most recently presented. Hello. There we go. All right. Thank you so much. And we're going to kick it off today with the dope dad himself. That is right, Rico Lamitte. He's the dope dad that is, for some reason, his camera's not working.
Can you hear me?
Oh, there we go. We hear you now.
Let me see if I can get my camera. So let me switch to the other one. 1 second.
Oh, okay. You know what? We're going to go to our feisty, redheaded conservative. That's right. Gretchen Gailey, holding it down in D.C., always telling pot-loving libs all about themselves and what reality really looks like. That's right. Not only that, she loves to dress up her dogs in crazy outfits. That's right. As the founder of Panoptic Strategies, our very own Washington insider, Gretchen Gailey.
You can hear their cries for mommy. Please put me back in my pajamas.
The dog barking right on schedule. I'm not crazy.
Yes, they love it. They love it. Jason Beck, what was that last day that you announced? I want to know how you spell it. Tell me what a day. You're on mute. Mute. All right, screw it. We can't hear Jason. Let's have a party. All right.
Talasemia.
One more time?
Talamesia. Talasemia. Talamesia.
Put that in the chat. I got nothing. All right. My headline is coming from Marijuana Moment. Federal marijuana records would be automatically sealed under new bipartisan congressional bill. Bipartisan congressional lawmakers have filed a bill to mandate the automatic sealing of criminal records for certain nonviolent federal marijuana convictions. Representatives Lisa Blunt Rochester and Nancy Mace reintroduced the Clean Slate Act last week. The measure would also provide relief to people who have been arrested for other offenses that did not result in a conviction. The legislation has been filed over the last several sessions, and the previous version advanced through the House Judiciary Committee last year. It wasn't ultimately taken up on the floor, however. Since coming to Congress, the Clean Slate Act has been one of my top priorities, Blunt Rochester said in a press release. With 9 in 10 employers conducting background checks, 4 in 5 landlords, and 3 in 5 universities doing the same, we know just how critical it is to give those who have served their time and paid their debt to society a clean slate and a second chance. As we continue to face workforce shortages impacting industries across the country and our economy, it's never been more important to do all we can to create equitable economic opportunity for millions of Americans. I look forward to working with my colleagues across the aisle and across Congress to pass this much needed legislation and send it to President Biden's desk. The bill would establish a new process for people to petition the courts for record sealing for nonviolent offenses that aren't eligible for automatic sealing. They could repetition the relief after 2 years if the court denied their initial request. Further, district courts would be able to appoint a public defender to assist indigent petitioners process their request for record sealing. As Americans, we believe in second chances. We believe in redemption, and we believe in the power of forgiveness, according to Nancy Mace. The Clean Slate Act, a bill that would give Americans who have paid their debt to society a fair shot at rebuilding their lives, is needed. We must reform our criminal justice system to focus on rehabilitation and second chances, and this bill is an important step in the right direction. While President Joe Biden issued his mass pardons for thousands of people who've committed federal cannabis possession offenses last year, the impact of the action is limited, as presidential pardons do not affect the visibility of conviction records. Also, the president's clemency action only affected people who've committed the offense before or on the day of the pardon proclamation in October of last year. The Clean Slate Act enjoys support from a diverse cast of institutions, including the American Conservative Union, Brennan Center for Justice, Center for American Progress, Clean Slate Initiative, Code for America, J.P. Morgan Chase, Follow the Money, Justice Action Network, LinkedIn, and R Street. By creating a process for clearing low-level nonviolent federal records and streamlining the process through automation, the Clean Slate Act will help people pursue stable career opportunities, according to Nan Gibson, who's the executive director of the J.P. Morgan Chase Policy Center. This measure will enable companies like J.P. Morgan Chase, where about 10% of our new hires annually in the U.S. have previous records with no bearing on their roles, continue to connect individuals to meaningful career paths, opening doors to opportunity that transform lives, lift up communities, and strengthen the economy. Yada, yada, yada. It keeps going on and on, patting each other on the back. I think this is a fine piece of legislation. Why not throw it in there? We absolutely need to help people clear up their past, especially if they've paid their time to society, and move on from the ills of the drug war from before. And that's the only way that people are going to be able to move forward. This is Gretchen from High at 9 News.
Again, Gretchen, what
Yes,
I mean,
please.
what is this actually really going to do for people?
Well,
I apologize.
it's gonna seal their records. So, if a landlord looks at it and be like, oh my God, there's someone smoked pot, I don't want them in my building, they can't see that anymore. Or also when you're going to apply for jobs, they can't see those past convictions.
But isn't this only affecting the people that were affected in regards to the presidential so-called pardon?
No.
This affects everyone.
Yes, because the Biden pardons was just a federal action. I don't believe this is just federal, because they're talking about having local public defenders be able to work with people. So this appears to be a bill that would go towards the states.
So this would be a bill that would force the states to seal people's records.
Yes.
Well, that's great.
All right, there you go. It's your girlfriend Nancy Mace, so you should be thrilled.
I just wanted some clarity to make sure everyone at home understood exactly what I think that I'm understanding.
Clarity.
I don't see anything here that says this is federal. My reading of it would be that this is for states.
Does it say how much it's going to
It's kind of like the HOPE Act, and how the HOPE Act was geared specifically towards states. It's not a federal bill.
All that hope and change stuff.
Does it mention any type of numerical number as far as how much funding is going to be provided to these states, to these different district attorney's office, to be able to do all of this legal work?
No, that Washington, they don't look at the numbers till the very end.
Exactly. It doesn't sound like this bill's going to go that far.
We'll see. It went nowhere before.
It doesn't sound like it's going to get a good CBO score either.
I cannot say. I'm sure they'll
CBO
find a
scores
way
better.
to stick the bill with the state, Jason.
I'm sure they will. That's without a doubt.
CBO scores always matter when the Democrats in charge, right?
This is a bipartisan piece of legislation. There is a Democrat on it, Rico.
I'm saying, like, when the Democrat president is at the helm, that's when CBO scores matter.
CBO scores always matter.
Exactly. CBO scores always matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Oh boy, here we go.
All right, next. Move along.
You can keep moving.
Yeah, we're gonna keep it moving, bro. We're gonna keep it moving today. Rico.
Keep it moving.
You gonna do an ad, or you just keep rocking?
I mean, we know you know how to keep it moving with all the backpedaling you do.
Hey, man, my Achilles is almost 100%. So backpedaling is what I do. It's all about the T-step. I bring it right back to you.
Yeah, lots of backpedaling.
Boom.
Backpedaling.
We're gonna do the ad, or we're gonna just keep it rocking?
Yeah, we're gonna go for ad. Let's run it. Why not?
Let's do it.
Oh, yeah. You know what time it is? That's right. It's Tuesday over here at Green Street, and we got Smoky Vanilla with us in the building. So that's right. It is time to stretch and smoke. We just got done smoking. Now we're going to stretch it out, and then we're going to smoke again.
Let's go. I'm Smoky Vanilla with my background in kinesiology and bodywork massage and assisted stretching. You got to come check it out, baby. Check me out on IG at Smoky Vanilla 1, Stretch and Smoke. Twitter, Smoky Vanilla. Social Club, Stretch and Smoke. We're also on Sports Recovery by Dan and Jam.
If you want to feel as good as I look, then make sure that you get a stretch and smoke in with Smoky Vanilla.
Yee!
Yee!
Yeah.
Shout out to Smoky Vanilla, man, my guy.
Yeah.
You gonna give me the intro now?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Oh yeah, coming up next. That's right. It's the dope dad himself that finally got his camera and audio system working together. He might even actually have a mic today. Who knows? You know what I mean? But
my mic wasn't working on Friday.
I just remember we had issues. I don't know. It's been the whole weekend, bro. You expect me to remember that far back? Nonetheless,
you do have an evolving memory on things too.
My memory reminds me when I need to be reminded. You know what I'm saying, Rico?
I could dig it.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because it is the dope dad himself. That's right. It's Rico Lamitte.
All right, y'all. It's good to be back, and I do have to start mine with a little bit of a trigger warning to those who are sensitive to violent stories. So, Saturday night, 33-year-old Mauricio Garcia was identified as the body armor-clad AR-15 armed shooter responsible for the 242nd mass shooting in the United States this year. And surprise, surprise, multiple reports linked Garcia to fringe neo-Nazi groups spawned on the internet. Garcia lived in a well-kept, tree-lined street in a subdivision in Allen, Texas, with his parents, and he was easily recognized by all of his neighbors from the clothes that he often wore, described by many of them as a uniform for a security guard or a law enforcement officer. These are a few of the quotes that neighbors gave news outlets when asked to describe the suspected mass murderer. Someone who kept to himself and didn't seem to get into trouble. He just seemed to be aloof, kind of disconnected, but he wasn't threatening. Per the Washington Post, his next door neighbor, Julie, often saw him coming and going from their shared subdivision in a sporty car. We jokingly called him Honky because he always honked at us and waved. He was one of 4 children of a couple who had lived in the neighborhood for more than a decade. They're good people. But if you actually tuned into Fox News this Saturday, you would have had a much different picture painted describing Garcia's roots. You may have thought he was a black man hopped up on high-potency GMO weed, because for some reason, Fox News loves invoking the tried and true tropes of reefer madness. And not the broader reefer madness term we often use to describe unfounded hysteria, but actual playbook used by the makers of the original, very racist movie, Reefer Madness. The government propaganda turned satirical cult classic film from 1936 that painted Cannabis as the most dangerous threat to white America, being forced onto society by crazed black jazz pianists who got their supernatural abilities to play the piano from smoking the devil's lettuce, sourced from shady Mexican immigrants, all part of a conspiracy to corrupt good, pure white intentions and to steal all of the pretty white women from their rightful white male owners. Fox News host Rachel Campos Duffy suggested marijuana and fatherlessness were to blame for Saturday's deadly mall shooting in Allen, Texas, leaving 9 dead, including Garcia. In a conversation with GOP congressional candidate Dr. Trey Penny that morning, she said, "I think we ought to look at the issue of fatherlessness. We also ought to look at that weed." Fatherlessness and weed. Tried and true reefer madness sourced stereotypes of dangerous weed-smoking black men out to ruin white society. At the time of Campos Duffy's interview, the gunman's identity and motive was not made public as police continued to investigate. But Twitter, on the other hand, was pushing plenty of conspiracy theories from suspected white supremacists with an anti-black narrative. Rachel Campos Duffy thought that it would be a service to Fox News to re-engage a recently unemployed, top-rated Tucker Carlson's faithful audience by dragging out the debunked, but not forgotten, absent black father's myth. Yes, it is a myth. I'm sure that Laura Ingraham was somewhere proud. Despite facts revealing the vast majority of mass shootings being carried out by non-black assailants, she and Carlson have been pushing for years a narrative that powerful weed and poor black community values are at fault for America's gun problems. Donald Trump even picked it up last week, as we also reported on. The Gun Violence Archive, a database of shootings in the U.S., says that we're averaging more than one mass shooting per day this year in America. Black men and weed are not the problem. Fox News, America's #1 rated misinformation and propaganda platform, is the problem. I'm Rico Lamitte, the dopest dad on the street for High 9 News. What do you guys think about this one? Fox News, your people.
I mean, you're so cute, so cute. I mean, Fox News definitely needs to tread lightly on this one. I'm not. I do not agree with Miss Campos Duffy in regards to the cannabis. Did this guy get did the shooter get test positive for weed? Where are they pulling the weeds out?
They're just pushing this shit, dude. Like it's from like Laura Ingraham started that last year. She started pushing that.
Fox better be real careful with this one, because the reality of it is they just got rid of Tucker Carlson, so their ratings are already dropping, and if they keep on pushing the weed people around, we're gonna have to disavow them too.
Should be.
Like, Rico, did you say 242 mass shootings this year?
Yes, 242.
What's the definition of a mass shooting, Rico?
Or more people.
4 or more people.
4 or more people. 4.
4 or more people. And now does that constitute all shootings? So like if someone in the hood gets shot 4 times, is that going to count as a mass shooting too?
Yes.
That will.
Yes.
Oh, then of course we have major mass shootings every day.
Like
but
they
don't. Yeah, they don't. That definition. I mean,
we're averaging more than one a day.
Yeah, they're just trying. They're trying to skew this.
Yeah, and Laura Ingraham started it. Tucker Carlson started to go with that as well, and then now, was it last week on Newsmax? Donald Trump is saying that shit too.
So can one person be shot 4 times, or it has to be 4 separate people shot?
Not one person shot, 4 people, 4 or more people shot.
4 people. Now the 4 people don't have to die; they just have to be shot. So you can get shot like in your pinky toe, and it would count.
Yeah.
Okay. Want to make sure that we're on the same page. I'm trying to understand these definitions, because definitions are constantly changing nowadays in America.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Or at least
what is the definition of news, or a real news network?
High at 9.
High at 9.
Exactly. With stories like this going out in times when people are looking for updates on stuff like this, like I don't see any of the editorial board. You know how things work over there better than any of us do, Gretchen. What goes through their mind when you push a story like this, when you have something that is tugging at people's heartstrings, and you know it's definitely a hot button topic right now with the whole gun control thing going on. Like, why would they even let her say stuff like this?
Okay, well, number one, they can't stop her. This sounds, as usual, like an off-cuff comment. I don't think this was written into anyone's script, for what I can tell. And I'm sorry, who said this?
Rachel Campos.
Duffy.
Yeah. But even if like if it's an issue like this, it's been said by multiple correspondents on their team, and they keep on letting them do it. There's no
what multiple. That's what I'm not getting. What multiple correspondents?
Laura Ingraham, Tucker Carlson,
about this, but
now Rachel
Tucker's off the air, so it wasn't Tucker. What are you talking about?
I'm saying multiple people like in their newsroom have been pushing this story, and there's been no pushback from anybody above them that stop saying that.
I have witnessed Brian Killamede make some off topics in regards to this, so I can see where Rico's coming from in regards to. But Fox News, you need to get your shit together, man, because keep pushing this cannabis line is not going to get you any more viewers, and you're not really placating to a lot of your viewers because a majority of Americans believe cannabis should be legalized. Period. You guys are all about freedom and liberty. You should be allowing people to have the freedom and liberty to choose what substances they want to consume, when and where they want to consume them.
Well, Fox is more concerned about their demographic that is watching them, which is an older reefer madness crowd.
It's not just for them to push these like, oh, it's this crazy weed. They're hopped up on crazy weed and makes them go get an AR-15 and go shoot up everybody. Like that's beyond irresponsible. It's dangerous, man.
Do we know if there were any if the shooter had tested positive for cannabis, or if were there any other?
There's no information like that out there.
Exactly. And at the time, there was no information on who he was, where he was from, or any of that stuff. And she's saying we need to take a look at fatherlessness. We need to take a look at this high potency weed. Like what? You're supposed to be the news. Why even cover a topic when you have nothing on the actual assailant, but you're gonna start pushing these dog whistles out? You're gonna start blowing on that dog whistle.
I mean, I want to hear what Chris has to say about this. Chris, do you have any thoughts on this?
242 mass shootings. What day are we in this year? How many days?
We are at 183.
Yeah, crazy. I mean, that's wild. That's the Rico of all the things that you said, and you had a bunch of great points. The comments were great. You know, I wrote that down as soon as you said it. That jumped out to me in this article more than anything else. 242 so far this year. 4 people is a lot, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, a mass shooting we just talked about, it equals 4 people or more. That's a lot of people to be shot in one incident, and to have that happen 242 times so far this year is, I don't know what to say.
I mean, I do find it interesting because I think the ultimate culprit of these shootings is ultimately the pharmaceutical industry and all these opiates that they pump down everyone's throats. But I do find it interesting that Fox News is not pointing any blame towards them, and I wonder if that's because the pharmaceutical industry is one of their sponsors.
No, they just don't want to talk. They don't want to have the gun debate because that, like Gretchen said, it just goes against their core target audience to have a sensible gun conversation about this. Like,
which is
thing, not to split hairs because you guys won't appreciate, but
oh, come on, let's
we like splitting these hairs, man. Split ends is my thing.
It does
like,
not appear to me that Rachel Campos Duffy is a Fox News employee. She's a contributor. There's a difference. She's a talking head that's brought on. I'm just saying. She's not Tucker. She's not Laura Ingraham. She's not an active host. She's someone that they bring on to stir the pot and is just throwing her opinions out there.
So to be one to split hairs here.
Oh, interesting.
on a hot button topic like a mass shooter that's out there, you're gonna put a person that is a quote unquote contributor and not one of your key people.
And not to throw my Fox News brethren under the bus. However, this was also on a weekend, so you're getting the D list here. I don't know what you want from me. Yeah, it's who answered their call the phone on the weekend to talk about the shooting.
I think Salem got something to say.
Yep. I think Salem down the bone.
Salem is working on a bone. She's working on one very diligently.
Yep. See?
Mhm.
Yep.
I don't know. Like, we just need more response when stories like this are really triggering to people. Like, sorry, pardon the pun there. They're really triggering to people, and they get people all up in arms, and it really does split our nation. And what we should do about this problem. Fox News should be putting their best foot forward. They should be putting their best people, their actual journalists, like Brett Byers or whoever. They should put them out there to talk about
Brett
this
Baer.
stuff. I don't know. Brett Byer.
Brett Baker. Stop it.
Whatever.
No, I have no problem with that, Rico. And I
Yeah.
Back in my day when I was at Fox News, because trust me, I got a lot of heat for working at Fox News. I always used to tell people I work with reporters. I did not work on these shows. I did not work with these opinion makers. I did not work with the Laura Ingrams or any of those people. If you saw a real reporter standing there at the scene telling you what was going on, that's the work that I did. And those people are working very hard to get you the real facts. So the person will give you the real facts, and then they bring on someone like Rachel Campos Duffy to spew what her thoughts are on what's going on the scene. But she didn't know anything. That's how it works.
At least put what's his name, Tucker Carlson's replacement, Kayleigh McEnany. Yeah. I'm sure she's gonna have a lot better insight, right?
I'm not saying they got insight. I'm just telling you how it works.
Just saying, Fox News needs to.
Well, and I love you, Rico, but CNN's exactly the same way.
I didn't say that.
I'm not talking about this, but they bring on a reporter who gives the facts, and then they go to talking heads who just spew whatever they spew.
Because Fox News created the model,
that's
and
true.
it creates money.
I have seen CNN say that weed is a problem too. So like let's keep it real.
Has CNN put multiple people on saying that cannabis is the reason we're having mass shootings?
I have seen something like that on CNN. Yes.
No, you have. It's not
Where
getting
can we look
off
at
the
news
bottom.
that just is straight facts? Where's that?
Yeah.
Probably a dumb question, but where's just like the straight facts news without?
Nobody wants facts anymore. That's the problem. The
AP.
world blew up with the 24-hour news cycle, and then you went to phones. Nobody needs to watch news anymore because they just bring up the straight facts on their phone and be like, okay, this is what happened. So you got to fill the other 24 hours with a bunch of bullshit. That's what the news cycle has turned into. A bunch of bullshit.
It's Ted Turner's fault.
Got it.
Oh boy.
It is. CNN, dude. Ground zero.
All right, Rico, we're gonna go to the next.
Let's
one.
keep it going. That was a good one though, man. I just hope they get that together and somebody can talk to Fox News. Maybe you are the voice of reason that can talk to your people over there, Gretchen. So up next, High Nines head honcho, the industry's longest continuously operating retailer, and you know what? He's a firm supporter of 45, even if he doesn't make it past this 47 civil suit he's going through right now because he refuses to show up.
Even Democrats believe it's BS.
He was the highest Republican in the room. Y'all know who it is. Jason Beck.
Oh, yeah. Good morning, Rico. Today, my story is going to take us far, far, far and away because watch this. Oh, boy. Thailand's cannabis sellers say the U.S. growers are eating their lunch. Oh, yeah. Nearly a year after Thailand decriminalized cannabis amid promises of an economic bonanza, Thai growers and sellers say they are being undercut by illegal imports from the United States that sell for a fraction of the price of homegrown buds. Thailand struck cannabis from its list of banned narcotics in June of 2022 after a high-profile campaign by Health Minister Antutin Chakunovakalo to establish the kingdom as a global hub for cannabis for medical purposes. But Thailand's parliament has yet to pass a long-awaited cannabis bill, leaving the regulatory framework for the industry in limbo. Local businesses say foreign money is filling up the gap, with many dispensaries across the country pushing low-cost cannabis imported illegally from the U.S. Foreign brokers are approaching local dispensaries to hawk cheap smuggled weed that is untaxed and then sold at 2 to 5x its original price, according to local cannabis entrepreneurs. A decent locally grown strain goes for 300 baht, that's $9 per gram, but imports are only 150 to 180 baht. That's 40 per gram, they say. But Priyara Aurora Ek, a cannabis entrepreneur with several licensed dispensaries in Bangkok, told Al Jazeera in a quote, "Each day we have brokers, both Thais and other nationalities. This is definitely a multinational business coming into our shops trying to sell us imported weed, but we turn them all down." Priaria said brokers have told them the product is smuggled in furniture and fruit or vegetable containers, so when customs scan, they can't tell that it's weed. Under Thai law, recreational cannabis use is still theoretically illegal. However, enforcement is patchy, and cannabis shops and stalls are found on practically every other street corner in Thailand's major towns and cities, kind of similar to New York. As tourists flood into Thailand to enjoy the relaxed atmosphere towards recreational cannabis use, Priaxia worries that Thai businesses are missing out on the booming demand. In a quote, "At the end of the day, my customers care more about the potency of THC content rather than the origin of the weed," he said, saying U.S. strains can be higher in THC, and the compound that gives cannabis users the high than homegrown strains, he's saying. He also, in a quote, he also says, "We need to protect the domestic market and support Thai growers and farmers." The Bloomin' Haladi Party, which pushed decriminalization, blames corrupt officials for the flood of illegal imports and political opportunism ahead of general elections on Sunday for the negative headlines about cannabis reform. In a quote, "There's already a law in place to deal with illegal imports, but the people supposed to be in charge failed to enforce it, namely officers from Customs and Agriculture departments." Sapachulai Janzamidratar, a Bumahamatai party member leading the defense of the reforms, told Al Jazeera. But in a quote, "But in the long term, we need to pass the Cannabis Act so there will be specific law to tackle this specific issue of weed smuggling," they say. Supapachai noticed that the Thai Chamber of Commerce estimated that the cannabis industry last year generated about $40 billion. That's $1.2 billion in for the local economy. But I think it's fair to say it's really in the hundreds of billions of baht, he added. But for many local players competing with foreign money, the economic benefits are hard to see. One veteran cannabis dealer turned legal entrepreneur said he invested heavily in making his own soils and fertilizer, only to find that his cannabis is too expensive for a market filled with cheap imports. Many Thai growers have turned to cannabis horticulture, trying to master their skills, and Squiddy Roliol, record, who has used an alias over his long career selling cannabis, told Al Jazeera, "But the Thai market has been flooded with cheap illegal imports with the help of corrupt Thai officials. The demand for imported flower is so high right now." The Blumenthal party big promises have predictably fallen flat, with big money from the U.S., the Netherlands, and Canada dashing hopes of a booming domestic industry, according to the veterans cannabis advocate Chakawan, aka Kitty Chapukara. Unfortunately, corruption and nepotism tend to be the obstacles, Chakawan told, and in a quote says, it's quite sad to see the people who it's supposed to be for unable to get into the market, she added. This disappointment is compounded by the well-publicized raids on street stalls, which hit the bottom of the food chain and not being big players who have destroyed the market, Squidwell says. Many shops right now are foreign-owned, leaving those with no access to capital having to sell on the sidewalks, he said. It turns out it's just another fight between greedy men. Man, it's going down in Thailand. What do y'all have to think? This is Jason Beck for High at 9 News. What do y'all think? Y'all smoking that Thai stick?
If you took the Thailand out of this story, I would have thought you were this was a story about New York. They are angry about outside forces coming in and eating their lunch, but they want to keep on pushing actual solid legislation. They want to keep on kicking that down the can. the last Thai government said that they're not going, not until their next session, I think was like 4 or 5 months down the line, that they're actually going to put some kind of regulation in. But they're complaining about what is happening when the trap moves in and does their thing.
Yeah, I mean, I find it hysterically funny that they're blaming it on the government on their enforcement. I mean, you have such an active trap market, and like boxes are just getting sent to Thailand daily, and you expect them, your government, to be the protector. Get out of here. That is a false hope of government.
You said regulations are coming 4 or 5 months away. Is when the next meeting is?
Yeah, well, the last time we covered it, they said that they were going to be pushing it back, and the trappers rejoiced. It seems they cannot come to an agreement on what should be done. I think it's between the cultivation and the retail factions couldn't come to agreement of what should be done, like the size of operations and all that stuff, like the regular stuff that we hear over in America. Because it probably sounds like a bunch of American consultants went over there and told them how to do things.
Well, I just find it, I mean, to me, it sounds like the local Thai growers are experiencing the same thing that all of our cultivators are experiencing up in the Emerald Triangle.
Yep.
Like no one wants to buy their weed. It's not cost productive to be producing it in that manner, and they're just ultimately getting the short end of the stick. Literally.
See what you did there, Jason.
You know what I did there?
That was good. That was pretty good.
I think it just goes back to, man, it's a plant, right? And we're trying to regulate a plant. We're trying to regulate something that naturally occurs. I can't speak for actual Thai cultivated product to the quality of it, but if the local operators want to use their locally sourced product, like, let them operate, let them do their thing. I don't know. It's not working well. Regulation and legislation is not working well here in America. So why are you going to let the blind lead the blind into the pit of despair like everybody else is doing?
I feel like the local Thai are trying to blame the free market when the free market is actually working out there in Thailand.
Free market always works.
But it's not a free market. It's a trap market. What are you talking about?
Free market. There's no more freer market than the trap market, Gretchen.
Okay,
is freedom not a trap?
Oh, I see what you did there, Rico.
You like that? Yeah.
You see what you did there. This has been fun. We're gonna go to a commercial. We're gonna be right back.
Let's do it. Keeping up to date on the evolving policies of relevant state, local, and federal governments is key to success. When the future of your business is at stake, you need representation as dedicated as you are. With a maze of laws and regulations surrounding cannabis, hemp, and psychedelics, knowing where to begin can be a challenge. Good thing the law offices of Omar Figueroa features a skilled, highly focused team ready to guide you through it all. They're accepting new clients in California and New York. So make sure you check them out at info@omarfigueroa.com.
Oh, yeah. Stop whatever you're doing right now. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you have not already. And at the same time, too, we love everyone participating in the chats. And if you want us to really pay attention to your chats, you know how to do it. That's right. Make it a super chat. Oh, yeah. And while you're also doing that, make sure you go to High at 9 News, www.highat9news.com. Sign up for our newsletter. You will get a confirmation email in your inbox. It will often go to your spam account or your junk box. So make sure you look for it in there. And then you can also go and check out our merch and be like Anna and buy a bathing suit. Control Tower from Highly Educated has perfected the dab. Utilizing the concept of thin film evaporation, you can waste none of it and taste all of it. The micro texture of the SE pillar increases nucleation at elevated temperatures. And with the tower propelling at 2,600 RPMs, it's certainly the most efficient dab experience to date. The Control Tower from Highly Educated.
Oh, yeah. He's a former NorCal cop who decided cherries and berries were no match for God's remedy to the Sunday scaries. Now a security consultant at CC Security Solutions on a mission to improve your chances of survival. Come to the stage next, Chris Eggers.
Happy Monday. Happy Monday, everybody. Rico, thank you again for the fire intro. My article today comes out of the Boston area, Pembroke, Massachusetts, to be exact. Headline reads, elementary school employee in Pembroke on leave after student finds cannabis edibles. A Massachusetts school employee was placed on leave on Friday after this occurred. In a letter to the parents, the superintendent of the Pembroke Public Schools says the student attended Hobbenmock Elementary School, got into a professional's backpack and removed the items. Quote, staff members immediately reported the incident, and although the child appeared unaffected in any way, the child was sent immediately to South Shore Hospital for observation and evaluation. At this time, we do not believe the child ingested the substance, according to Aaron Obie, the superintendent. The employee was placed on paid leave as the investigation is being conducted. It's against school policy to bring controlled substances or alcohol onto school campuses. And then there's another article out of NBC, local Boston, that states that the school district is a school drug-free has a drug-free workplace policy that prohibits the possession of controlled substances. An alcohol violation may result in disciplinary action, including termination. So that's all both of these articles had to offer. Didn't name the school employee, didn't say the result of the hospital visit, but doesn't look like the child ingested it, and really no other further information on how this came to be. So a lot of questions I have personally about, packaging. Was it packaged correctly in a childproof, container? Why was it brought to the school? Whole bunch of questions. But I thought I'd share this on a Monday morning. I found it pretty interesting. Likely this teacher is going to be terminated, I would assume. And then I'm sure there's going to be some sort of lawsuits going on is my best guess. But that's my article today for this Monday morning.
Do we know if it was actually cannabis, Chris, or was this a Delta 8 product?
It just says marijuana edible, and that's from the NBC Boston article. In the other article that I shared from WCVB, it didn't say.
It's Delta 8.
Very probable.
What is a paraprofessional?
Yeah, good question. Don't know. I cut out that first part if you didn't.
Is that just like an aid?
Maybe it's an influencer.
A paraprofessional? I mean,
That's what they said.
A paraprofessional plays an essential role within school districts. Under the supervision of a licensed teacher, a paraprofessional supports teachers and students in many ways. For instance, a paraprofessional can tutor students or assist the teacher with managing the classroom and organizing instructional materials. And that is
like a teacher's aid, basically, with a fancy title.
Yep.
All right. Frankly, I get the school policy. I don't think this person should lose their job. I think someone should talk to this kid's parents. What are you doing going through people's book bags and taking things?
There's a lot of information that is missing from this story.
Huh?
Yeah, so there's a lot of information missing from this story. When Gavin Newsom loosened up the law, loosened up the rules here for parents parents and social workers and everything when it comes to open containers of cannabis to be seen no different than alcohol. My wife, as a mental health professional here in the school system, she actually did a big teacher and parent meeting where they had everybody from the district here out in LA come out, and they talked about these things, what to look for, and how to more properly secure stuff. Hopefully they're doing this in other states too, as stuff comes online, because it all falls back on the parent. And if you are in a state that you can get custody taken from you because of stuff like this, you gotta make sure your shit's locked up, period. So whether it's D8, whether it's actual THC stuff, like it just goes back to the parents, man.
I agree with you. I agree with you, Rico. But where's the onus on the students for teaching them not to be rummaging through people's belongings?
like I said, we don't have the full story here of what happened with this student or how it was found in their backpack. It could have been, I don't know. It could have been they showed it to another kid. You know, how old was this kid, Chris?
No, the story is,
Elementary,
according
also.
to
Elementary?
the letter sent home to parents, is that the kid went into the teacher's aid book bag and took them.
Yeah,
Oh.
so should the kid be charged with theft?
Heck yeah.
As a petty crime?
I get where the school is coming from in saying that
TA?
this product is not allowed on school property to
school
begin
property.
with. So
Yeah.
that's the fault of the TA. But then someone also needs to look at this kid and like, hey, get out people's book bags.
Exactly.
it
And
wasn't
the
really
TA,
found.
don't be getting all cozy with the kids where they know what's in your bag.
No one's who knows if the kid knew what was in the bag or
That's what I'm
not. The
saying.
kid
This
goes
is
into the
not-
bag, looks like he found some candy. He's like, hot damn.
We
This
don't know
little
how.
kid is like, woohoo.
Right. We don't know how like any of this stuff transpired. There's like
Have
a
you-
lot of information.
I know exactly how it transpired. There were kids who stole lunches all the time out of the coat room. What do you mean? You put your book bag back there and people start going through your shit. That's how it worked.
Is that what you used to do?
I'm just saying. Back in the day, if you were hungry,
Limitations is up.
you knew where the lunches were. I'm not saying I did these things. I'm just saying it was not hard to go through other people's belongings. That's all I'm saying.
Gretchen had
And-
to
Well, it's so easy. An elementary school kid can do it. So
Mhm.
And parents need to teach their kids to keep their hands off of things that are not theirs.
Right.
Period.
Yeah.
yeah,
sticky
that would be
fingers.
one of the things. Me personally, right? Me personally, that's one of the things I would be having a convo with my kid about is, hey, don't go through other people's stuff. That would be part of this entire learning experience and the entire experience. I would have to, I want
So-
to say those words.
Rico, say this is your daughter. She's young and, decides to go looking through someone's stuff and take something she shouldn't have. What would you say to her? Would you blame that on her or would you blame it on the teacher's aide for having something in their book bag they shouldn't have had?
Well, number one, it still falls on the parents for teaching your kids not to be rummaging through other people's shit. But I would
Would
sue
you
the
be
school.
upset at the school?
I would be upset with the school district for having somebody to have this even available. Number one.
Okay.
I think that's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah, like why would you have somebody on staff that you guys are paying, that my tax dollars are paying for their salary, that's bringing weed on campus?
So your stance is that teachers should not be able to consume cannabis because the state is paying for them.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
All
they should have better rules or better parameters in place.
Oh,
But
drug
this
test.
this never should have happened. There's no,
You know why? You know why this does happen like that? Because the teachers union. Because you can't fire teachers.
oh my god!
Well, I doubt this is a teachers union issue. Number one, Jason Beck. I guarantee you, this teacher's aide does not fall under the teachers
I just
union.
made it one, Gretchen.
I know how you love to make up your facts.
and attack unions. Yeah, this all it's all bad, like from the beginning to the end. The parents should make sure that their kids aren't rummaging through shit. The school should have better rules and education around how to handle adults handling whatever they have within their possession. Period. And it should not be on campus. And Bloomberg should have inquired deeper into how the kid even have access to that. Like, why, if you're a teacher, why are your bags intermingled with kids' bags?
Blame it on Bloomberg. Blame it on Bloomberg. Here we go. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of things we can touch on. I mean, secured storage areas for teachers, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Violating this
with that.
this teacher aide violated the rule. Okay, fine, but the manner of which that was discovered was also, I think at minimum a learning moment for the kid and the parents, and then it goes into multiple rabbit holes of connecting dots that we don't know. But I agree with you, Gretchen. I think we probably can dissect with this article exactly what happened, and there's probably no other layers to it. But how do you move forward, and what's the ramifications, if any, for the teacher's aide? Now, as a parent, Rico, let's just say no other info is available. Okay, and I know this is kind of maybe a shitty scenario, but no other info is available. All the info you have is that your kid's teacher tested positive for cannabis, and that's it, just cannabis.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a problem for you?
No.
Okay.
I have a question.
No.
I have a question. How do we
Yeah.
even really know that the kid got it out of the teacher's bag and didn't get it from one of his friends? Is just using the teacher's aide as a scapegoat?
We don't, because Bloomberg didn't ask the tough questions.
Oh, now you go. Blame it on Bloomberg again.
I'm sure whoever took this from a press release and didn't have the opportunity to ask any questions, Rico.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we don't.
Yeah, like it's on paid admin leave, which is, I think, interesting. Paid admin leave.
Yep,
So,
that's right.
I don't know. I could think of a few different reasons that might be the case, but we don't know what the policies are in that school district and how they roll or how strong their union is, etc.
Oh, I'm pretty sure their union's pretty strong, but we got to go to a commercial. We're going to be right back.
How's it going, guys? Saman Razani coming to you from Green Street here with Jason Beck, smoking on the best weed in the world. Did you know that we have an audio-only version of our podcast available on Apple, Google, Amazon, iHeartRadio, and Spotify? Tune in now and check it out.
Oh, yeah, coming up. We got the Dope Dad back with another story. What do you got for us, Dope Dad?
So my second story today, coming out of Riverside County. Is that the one I'm doing?
No,
water.
You're doing the water, bro.
Let's talk about the water crisis. So my second story today is coming from Bloomberg. Again, hopefully they asked the good questions on this one. From Kim Chipman. Illegal cannabis is making California's water problems worse. All right, so California's stubbornly persistent illegal cannabis industry isn't just undercutting the legal market, it's also behind some of the most blatant water theft. An estimated 8 billion underground cannabis industry consumes staggering volumes of precious resource despite the state legalizing recreational use back in 2016. Some participants have been known to strike in stolen water, while others take it from fire hydrants or dig illegal wells. Years of off and on droughts in the state have exacerbated the problem. John Norris, a retired lieutenant and former team leader of the California Department of Fish and Wildlife, says the amount of water stolen by illegal cannabis industry is mind-blowing. We're taking millions and millions of gallons taken annually by these unlawful operations. An average cannabis plant requires as much as 5 gallons of water a day and takes anywhere from 90 to 275 days to grow, according to Norris. Some illegal operations housing, on average, 2,000 to 5,000 plants. That's a number with a whole lot of zeros, end quote. We have alfalfa fields that are bone dry, but illegal cannabis grows are getting water and making harvest, making it rain. Hundreds of water trucks are lining up to transport water to these illegal grows, many times right across the street from agriculture, facing unprecedented curtailments and new groundwater restrictions. Back in 2021, the height of cannabis water theft crisis, officials estimated an annual loss of as much as 4,000 acre-feet water amid reports of supplies being hauled in or groundwater being illegally pumped from the basin, according to Mojave Water Agency General Manager Adnan Anabtawi. An acre-foot is about 326,000 gallons, enough water to submerge an American football field in 1 foot deep. California communities have made progress in addressing water theft, and the situation has improved recently, according to those who are tracking the efforts. But there's a problem that the state is going to continue to struggle with and has the potential to put the industry at loggerheads with the other crops and industries competing with states' limited water resources. Water theft is an issue regardless of water levels. Drought or no drought, water is being depleted, not just in California, but across the globe. Now, Jason, I thought we were out of a drought. I thought California was no longer in a drought, but we're still saying that this is a problem.
This to me is total gaslighting right here, because you have Gavin Newsom that threw so many gallons back into the ocean because we didn't have enough space to contain all the water that we got. And maybe we should talk about all of the overproduction of certain crops that we grow here, such as almonds, that take an exorbitant amount of water out of our reservoirs to produce almond milk that we don't even need, that is only produced because of the fact that we have an oversupply of almonds.
Yeah, but you follow the money, right? You'll see why they're attacking. You'll see exactly why they're attacking cannabis. They're not going to attack those other staple crops that already have their subsidies in place. And there's good law-abiding citizens that are taking that water. We don't need it, though.
I think it's total gaslighting. Total gaslighting.
I agree.
This is not the problem. Now, granted, I am not for people stealing water in our national parks or any of for those illegal grows and whatnot. I am not for that. So I don't want my comments to get misconstrued. But this article is totally ridiculous and is almost just as bad as the Fox News article that you covered, Rico. You had two of these.
Almost. Almost. This is Bloomberg, man. This is Bloomberg. I wonder, was this a paid article as well for one of their contributors? What I got to say about this, man, just follow the money. You'll see exactly why they're attacking industries that don't pay enough and that are not fitting the bill. There's a lot of stuff that can be remedied through cannabis, and there's a lot of good actors in the cannabis community that are doing great things environmentally. And there are a lot of bad actors that are in federally legal industries that continue to pillage the land. But you're not going to have stories like this highlighting those because it doesn't fit the narrative and it goes against who's paying their bills.
Nick in the comments says that almonds are also one of the leading factors to the air quality issues in the Central Valley here in California. And Jason, I didn't know how much water. I think you told me a while back. How much water is
25 gallons to produce one almond.
One single almond or an almond tree?
One single almond, 25 gallons. It takes 25 gallons of water to produce one single almond.
How is
okay,
that?
I understand we want to complain and bitch about almonds. Fine, whatever. I don't like almond milk either. However, the story is about stolen water. Are there almond farmers out there stealing water too?
Of course.
Well, technically they are stealing the water because they're using so much of it. A lot of other people, we wouldn't have a water shortage if they weren't using so much of it.
Okay, technically you're wrong. What are you talking about?
Right.
Somebody give Jason Beck Tucker Carlson's spot on Fox News. He's just pulling facts out of his ass. Right?
You guys are so silly, bro. You guys are so funny. Oh man, it's Monday. Here we go.
Whenever there's a shortage in something, it's very easy to attack the illicit operators in our industry because it's the topic du jour. But you're not talking about the rest of the cartels. The rest of the cartels.
I'm trying to understand from someone other than Jason Beck, who lives in California. Is there a massive illegal almond operations? Are there?
No, it's not about massive illegal almond operations.
The whole thing is about illegal.
It's all different kinds
They're
of
not
crops.
talking about state cannabis producers. They're talking about water being stolen.
And you obviously didn't listen to my comments, but you know what?
I don't understand your comments. What are you talking about?
You don't understand.
There's not enough coffee in the world for me to understand your comments.
The point of
about coffee beans.
My point of it is if the almond growers didn't take so much water, we wouldn't even need to care about all the water that's being stolen. It wouldn't even be a thing. Okay. And until we have actual adequate resources to enforce on all of these people that are stealing water, stop complaining about it. Figure it out.
All right. Number one, your water issues out there don't start with almonds. You got
water
a lot of
issues
other
are
reasons
not.
that you have water problems.
There are no water issues anymore. We're no longer in a drought, according to the latest news.
According to who?
According to the latest news, we're no longer in a drought.
That's going to last 30 seconds.
No, this is like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's all. This is why I do not live in California. I live in the swamp where things make sense.
I bet. Well, we have, like I said multiple times before, we have the HAARP machine, HAARP, and we can create rain, we can create weather whenever we want. So why is there any drought here unless it fits the socio and economic narrative that we adhere to?
Yeah, the drought is a total money grab in my opinion, but I have one more story.
No. We got 2 minutes left to go. We don't want to hear another Jason Beck fake facts story.
This is so good because this is for Chris. Riverside County authorities seized $1 million worth of cannabis products from an illegal dispensary. Deputies from the Riverside County Sheriff's Department seized more than $1 million worth of marijuana products and other items during a warrant search of Jurupa Valley on Thursday. Authorities served the warrants at an illegal unlicensed dispensary on the 1700 block of production circle. Deputies initially responded to the area around 5:30 p.m. for a report of a disturbance. When they arrived, several people fled, including some who were caught and detained. Search warrants were issued, and the Riverside County Sheriff's marijuana enforcement team searched the property. During the search, authorities discovered about, get ready for the math, Chris,
I'm ready.
150 pounds of processed marijuana, 10 pounds of psilocybin mushrooms, 100 pounds of marijuana concentrate, and 2,400 marijuana vapes and 1,200 edibles. The estimated value of the seized items was determined to be over $1 million, officials said. Additional details were limited, but the sheriff's department said the investigation is ongoing, and anyone with information is encouraged to contact Deputy Butler at the Jurupa Valley Sheriff's Station at 951-955-2600. Oh,
Jason,
man.
that's 250 pounds, 250 pounds, 2,400 vapes, 2,400 edibles. What's the math on that? Can you ballpark for us?
Well, hold on. Well, one of the things
million, Jason. Jeez.
I mean, well, the thing about the price of distillate right now is so high. Like, maybe they hit it with just the distillate.
So they got called for a disturbance and then wrote a search warrant, which means they got there. Oh crap!
It means they must have saw something. They must have saw or smelt something,
and then
gave
they
them
went
back.
cause. Yeah, they froze the property, went back, cut a search warrant, came back.
Yep.
Started getting their abacus out and their calculators out, and rounded up, carried the one, and we got $1 million.
Yep.
Okay, got it.
Exactly right. You with us, Rico?
Oh, I'm here. Are we?
All right, let's round it out. It's 10 o'clock.
Let's do it. Thank you all out there for tuning in with us for another episode of High at 9 News. You can always catch us weekdays 9 a.m. Pacific, high noon on the East Coast. Big shout out to our super fans showing love and support and affection. To our live audience members and online supporters across platforms tuning in and giving us feedback on the daily headlines. Our vetted correspondent team tuning in from all over, bringing us much needed variety of perspective and your respected opinions to the conversation as well. To our production team, Cloud Media Partners, House of Fuego, and the wonderful Jaja Simone. Love you, Jaja, always. Holding things down over in Clubhouse. And also to all the sponsors, keeping the lights on in this train rolling. Nothing but love out to the haters out there. I see your fingers are nice and stretched out and your knuckles are cracked. To talk your shit in the comment section. Like I said, become a super fan, put it on the big screen, baby. Come to the big leagues. And always, Cannabis Sativa L, the reason the High at 9 News team shows up daily. We love you infinitely. It is Monday, May 8th, 2023. The show's over. You've been blessed with today's top industry headlines. Hope it was enough for you to put in your pipe and smoke at least until tomorrow. Y'all know who it is. Rico Lamitte, the dopest dad on the street. And I'm going to give this one to Gretchen. Been stretching today, man. What she got for us? And she bounced. And she stretched her ass on out of here. Chris Eggers. Hit these people with a good message to leave on this morning. You got us?
You got anything to say, Chris?
Happy Monday. Be kind to one another.
Yes.
Cheers. Have a great week.
Be kind. Rewind.
Be kind.